As promised in the previous video, now we're going to check out all the data management tools that you have at your disposal when you log in to manage your data. So we're on the Fundy Connect search page here, and I'm not logged in, so I'm just going to demonstrate that again. So we scroll all the way down to the very, very bottom of the page and click the login button. Put in your user credentials here. If you are using a personal computer, you can click save when you put in your your user credentials here, so that they'll be memorized and auto-populate when you come back. If you're using public computers, it's best not to do that. So if it asks you to save your password or your username, just say no if you're using a public computer. All right, so my information has auto-populated here because I've been here before, so I'm just going to click sign in. And now you can see that I'm logged in as a data manager because I have this menu bar at the top, my main menu, click out arrow over here, and the advanced search option. So those, just like we mentioned in the last video, are some of the data management tools we have available. So first of all, I notice that I'm in Fundy Connect Public because I just logged in. So I want to be in the Fundy Connect management view. So just like we went over in the last video, I'm going to click open my main menu, go to change view, and I'm going to switch into the Fundy management view. Okay, so now I'm in Fundy management view. And we're just going to go through each of the user tools or the data manager tools that we have available. So the first one here, this shows us what view we're in, like we've already mentioned. Now this feedback function is where you go in and take a peek at the suggestions that have been submitted by the public. So you can, there'll be feedback on existing records here, and there'll be recommendations for new records that people want to see added. So we'll go into each of these features in depth in their own video. So right now I'm just going to show what each one is. So then if you click new record up here in the top menu bar, that opens all of the fields to create a new record. So that's just a quick way to do that. That's something we'll go into depth on in a future video. The next one we have here is reminders. And you can see here that I have now this red triangle with an exclamation point in it, this kind of warning symbol here. And that means, so I set a reminder for myself just to be able to show what that looks like when you do have a reminder. So if I didn't have any reminders that were set and overdue, this would just say reminders in white text. But because I have a reminder due, so if we click into that, you can see that I've made some reminders here when I was testing the function. And so because they're past due, then I have this little image here by my reminders thing. So it lets you know that you have stuff that requires attention. So we'll go into how to set reminders in depth in a future video. When you click your account name at the top, it just brings you into your account editing area where you can change some of your credentials, do a password change if you have the ability to, and some other stuff like that. So this is where you manage your account info. So I'm just going to go back on my browser. And the last option you have here at the top is to log out. So if you're on a public computer, of course, you definitely want to log out. And if you're on your own computer, it does log you out anyway if you close all the tabs. So there is some security there that it does log you out automatically when you leave. So you just click log out and that takes you back out into the user view. All right, so that's the top menu bar. So we'll go into depth on each of those in a future video. Now we want to go over to the main menu, and you'll see here that my little gray arrow is missing. So that might happen to you, and that's because I've navigated away and I went to the reminders page. So I'm on a different page in the database, and to get back to be able to access my main menu, I actually have to click this button here, main menu, and then that brings me back to the main search page, like the home page. And now you'll see that my arrow is back. So if I click that, this opens some additional options here. So saved searches, if you click that, it opens up the area where you have your saved searches. So when you're doing your data management, which we're going to get into later on, you might do a very specific set of searches or a very specific search to get a certain set of search results. And then you might want to save that search for future reference so that you can go back and just quickly revisit that set of search results. So if you want to do that and you click Saved Search at the top of the list, that sends that list here. So then you can head back to it anytime. Okay, going back now, opening up my main menu again. Print records, this is an area where you can set some restrictions about the publication codes you want included and whatnot, and what fields you want to see. And then you can go through a process to get to print a list of records. So we'll go over that in a future video as well. Going back to my main menu, this is a higher level feature where you can import data. So I'm not going to go into depth with that feature, but just so you know that it's there, this is where you can load data sets if you were doing like a mass import of data. So we probably won't do an in-depth video on that one. That's a super user level task. All right, so we're going to pop out our main menu again. Going down further to publications, this is where you manage publication codes, and we're going to do a video all on publication codes later on. So I'm going to go back in my browser, open up my main menu again here. Statistics, this takes you into an area where you can go through different, again, set different criteria, and then view statistics on the viewing and usage of different records. So we'll do a video on that as well. So going back to the main menu page, popping out my menu again, manage users. This is where you go to manage your own or to view your own user information. So unless you're a super user, you can't actually view others' information or make any changes to others' information, but you can put in your own username here and see how your account is set up. Going back, and my account just takes you back to that same page where we got to when we clicked our account up here. So that's a duplication. You can get that to that area 2 places. And then log out. So same as up here. Log out does the same thing, logs you out of the system. And then change view, like we've mentioned already. You go in here to switch to different views. So if you wanted to add a trail record and you wanted access to all of the fields that are available when you're working on the Trails Guide view, you could click into Nova Scotia Trails Guide Management, and then that would bring you here. So then if you create a new record in here, you'll have access to some different features. But we'll get into that later on. And then the final tool that I want to talk about just quickly, and we're going to do a video all on this as well, is when you click Advanced Search here. That opens up a very powerful tool where you can put together multiple criteria for a search. The list here is endless of what you can do, so we'll get into depth in that in a future video. And then you can make a very concise or specific list of search results for whatever purposes you need for your data management. So we'll get into that and how you can use this tool to improve your data management and make it more efficient and effective and fun.